So just one last dance and a kiss, and that's it. So thank you for joining. Thank you for being here, for joining today in the way of gratitude. And we're maybe a couple of days away from the finish line, you could say. So it's like another 5 days, probably. And on Thursday, there will be the end of the 40 days, the 40th day of our intensive, of our commitment to peace, to remember peace on a daily basis, on a moment-by-moment basis. But at least we practice together in this and supporting each other by being present here, by opening up, by sharing, by giving it away, by all the things that are happening, has been happening during these days. And that's very lovely to see how that continues, and how as if we have like a cloud of light where we, let's say, go back to or return to every so now and then, at least to recharge and to remember. So that's so beautiful. So thank you for listening to this today, being here, being present. And today will be also a beautiful Center of Love meditation. It's connected to a poem, and we will listen to the Ladder of Prayer, and that is an part in the Urtext. Show the book, like in the Urtext of A Course in Miracles. There's a volume 6, I think it is. It's the prayer, the gift of prayer, and so we will be listening to part of it with French subtitles, luckily. And so here we go. We're going to start with the maybe just something else that just came into. It's like, wait a minute. There was this one thing that I really wanted to share. Something that happens. It's like, oh, wait, yes. It has to do with evaluating yourself or looking at yourself in the process. So I said it before, but it's great to remember it again. So like evaluating yourself, looking at yourself is never really going to give you any information because of the fact that you're looking at an image that's already over. So it's literally impossible to see yourself and to describe yourself with limited terms, because you are unlimited. You cannot distinguish in comparison. There is nothing to compare yourself with. And this is so beautiful. This is so great. If you get it, it's really lovely. So it will take away the desire to evaluate yourself. It's like you're always underestimating yourself, because if you see yourself with your eyes, with your thoughts about yourself, you see something that is not there. I can assure you that. And it is like, no, you're not an image. You're not a definition. You're not this one that you think you are. No, it is, and this was the part that I actually wanted to share. It's like, it's always different than what you think it is. Now this is really something else. So it's always different than what you think. Now that goes on and on and on. If I say, okay, we have a Center of Love meditation, you will have an image, because words make up images. What you think it will be, it is not going to be that. So here's the image maker at work. The ego mind is the image maker, continuously producing images, because otherwise it cannot exist. It needs images to prove its own, confirm its own existence. It needs images for that. It needs proof. And see what we do with this thing. Well, what do you do with it? Making images with it. You send ideas, you send images. Like I do it too. I have my Instagram account. I put out stuff on it. But I'm sending out images. So it's like, here, this is me. Look at that. Yeah, hi. Or this is what I make. This is where I am. This is what I do. This is what I say. Yeah, listen to me. This is what I say. And now the only thing I'm casting out, sending out, is images and ideas. And they, even though if they come from another place, you could say, if they come from out of time, I'm sharing them with you. It's like you might put them back into images and stuff it into the third dimension. And it's not what it was. So this is the trouble with books, even in this book. Like even in this book, A Course in Miracles, how much is being brought back into three dimensions in the sense of human existence. Like none of that has anything to do with what the Course in Miracles is. And the same with when we're going to listen later to the Ladder of Prayer. There's literally nothing that you know about that. Like that's impossible to know anything about it. No, you can be in it, but you cannot know about it. Your knowledge, your intellect, your knowledge, I'm not talking about knowledge. That is not of this world. It's literally out of time knowledge. That's a different story altogether. But intellect and conceptual ideas, associations, have nothing to do with your reality. You have to repeat that to yourself at least once or twice or maybe 10 times a day to recognize, oh yeah, wait a minute, I already started to fix that image as if it is a fact. And here's the trouble. My body is like this. When I look in the mirror, I can see, oh yeah, I'm suffering a little bit more. You can see it, like I got more like of these things and all this, and I hunch over a little bit more. Like, no, don't fool yourself. Like, you're not being described as an image. It's impossible, because you're not an image. You're created in the likeness of your Father, right? So it's like, this is a different story. So whatever you're doing, you're choosing for littleness, for something that you're not, and over and over and over and over and over again, until you believe it yourself that you're that little thing, so to speak, that little thing that can be separate. Not true. Big lie. End of story. It will never be true. You can make it as true for yourself as you want. Now here the prayer or the poem that came to me today, and is in fact pure and simple. It is so close to you, and it doesn't it doesn't veil anything. It is the pure expression as it came to me. Now, what it says is not what you think it says. What it says is how to receive this, you could say, is to open yourself up for it, to come into an atmosphere of stillness, peace, just like we are getting into now, and listening, open attitude. Like, let's see what happens. This is an experiment. So, like, there's literally no way that you can know what this is about, only in its totality, and that makes it what it is. So, a partial thinking that you understand is absolutely meaningless. You either, say, are immersed in it completely by becoming it, or nothing happened. Love is not two, but love is one. You and me are not two, we are one. God and me are not two, we are one. The Son and the Father are not two, they are one. Love is my being, being love is my life. My reality is one life in God. God is my life and my being. My being is whole and one, all is included as one. One consciousness is all. Something outside of it is not. The moment I see you apart from me, I am nothing. The moment I locate myself, I am nowhere, and where are you? The moment I find myself in time, I'm past. Love seems gone. The moment I release my ideas, I am present, at one with you. The impossible has not occurred and did not have effect. The dilemma dissolves when I see there is no you and me. Now we melt as one, embraced by this holy light. In full expectancy you hold my hand to let the new born each moment. Love is not two, but love is one.
L'amour n'est pas deux, mais l'amour est un. Toi et moi ne sommes pas deux, nous sommes un. Dieu et moi ne sommes pas deux, nous sommes un. Le Fils et le Père ne sont pas deux, ils sont un. L'amour est mon être l'amour est ma vie. Ma réalité est une vie en Dieu. Dieu est ma vie et mon être. Mon être est total et un. Tout est inclus dans l'un. Une seule conscience est tout. Quelque chose en dehors d'elle n'est pas. Au moment où je te vois séparé de moi, je ne suis rien. Au moment où je me situe, je ne suis nulle part. Et où es-tu? Au moment où je me retrouve dans le temps, je suis passé. L'amour semble avoir disparu. Au moment où je libère mes idées, je suis présent, en union avec toi. L'impossible ne s'est pas produit, il n'a pas eu d'effet. Le dilemme se dissout lorsque je vois qu'il n'y a pas de toi et de moi. Maintenant, nous nous fondons en un, embrassés par cette lumière sacrée. Dans une attente totale, tu me tiens la main pour laisser chaque moment renaître.
A Course in Miracles, Urtext Manuscripts, complete 7-volume combined edition, Volume 6, Song of Prayer. 1. Prayer. Section C, the Ladder of Prayer. Prayer has no beginning and no end. It is a part of life, but it does change in form and grows with learning until it reaches its formless state and fuses into total communication with God. In its asking form, it need not, and often does not, make appeal to God or even involve belief in Him. At that level, prayer is merely wanting out of a sense of scarcity and lack.
The prayer or asking out of need always involves feelings of weakness and inadequacy and could never be made by a son of God who knows who he is. No one then who is sure of his identity could pray in this form. Yet it is also true that no one who is uncertain of his identity could avoid praying in this way. And prayer is as continual as life. Everyone prays without ceasing. Ask and you have received, for you have established what it is you want.
It is also possible to reach a higher form of asking out of need. For in this world, prayer must be used for a reparation, and so it must entail levels of learning. Here, the asking may be addressed to God in honest belief, though not yet with understanding. A vague and usually unstable sense of identification has generally been reached, but it tends to be blurry by a deep-rooted sense of sin. It is possible at this level to continue to ask for things of this world in various forms, but it is also possible to ask for qualities such as honesty and goodness, and particularly for forgiveness for the many sources of guilt that inevitably underlie any prayer of need. Without guilt, there is no scarcity. The sinless have no needs.
At this level also comes that curious contradiction in terms known as praying for one's enemies. The contradiction lies not in the actual words, but in the way they are usually interpreted. While you believe you have enemies, you have limited prayer to the laws of this world and limited your ability to receive and accept to the same narrow margins. And yet, if you have enemies, you have need of prayer and great need too. What does the phrase really mean? Pray for yourself that you may not seek to imprison Christ and thereby lose the recognition of your own identity. Be traitor to no one, or you will be treacherous to yourself. An enemy is the symbol for an imprisoned Christ. And who could he be except yourself?
The prayer for enemies thus becomes a prayer for your own freedom. Now it is no longer a contradiction in terms. Rather, it is a statement of the unity of Christ and the recognition of his sinlessness. And now it has become holy, for it acknowledges the Son of God as he was created.
Let it never be forgotten that prayer at any level is always for yourself. If you unite with anyone in prayer, you make him part of you. The enemy is you, as is the Christ. Before it can become holy, then, prayer becomes a choice. You do not choose for another. You can but choose for yourself. Pray truly for your enemies, then, for herein lies your own salvation. Forgive them for your sins, and you will be forgiven indeed.
Prayer is a ladder reaching up to heaven. At the top, there is a transformation much like your own, for prayer is part of you. The things of earth are left behind, all unremembered. There is no asking, for there is no lack. Identity in Christ is fully recognized as set forever, beyond all change and incorruptible. The light no longer flickers and will never go out.
Now, without needs of any kind, and clad forever in the pure sinlessness, which is the gift of God to you, his Son, prayer can again become what it was meant to be. For now it rises as a song of thanks to your Creator, sung without words or thoughts or vain desires, unneedful now of anything at all. So it extends as it was meant to do, and for this giving God himself gives thanks.
God is the goal of every prayer, giving it timelessness instead of end. Nor has it a beginning, because the goal has never changed. Prayer in its earlier forms is an illusion, because there is no need for a ladder to reach what one has never left. Yet prayer is the part of forgiveness as long as forgiveness, itself an illusion, remains unattained. Prayer is tied up with learning until the goal of learning has been reached. And then all things will be transformed together and returned, unblemished, into the mind of God.
Being beyond learning, this state cannot be described. The stages necessary to its attainment, however, need to be understood, if peace is to be restored to the Son of God, who lives now with the illusion of death and the fear of God.
To bring that in one more time, it's always good to hear about prayer and doing that right, so to speak, doing that right. And so to let it be effective, in the sense of letting it be free, that every gift can come to you in your communication. That's basically what that is about. Now there will be another part that's specifically praying for others, that always seems to be interesting too, because there's a request. Here's a request. Here's your patient. Here's your friend who's asking, or here's your enemy who's asking. Now, what are you going to do? And so that's the second part that we're going to listen to. But so after that, we will have a little meditation again, like a little musical meditation. So this is probably another 5 minutes or so, but it's great to listen to. That's why it came to me to share. Complete 7-volume combined edition, Volume 6, Song of Prayer. Chapter 1, Prayer. Section D, Praying for Others. We said that prayer is always for yourself, and this is true. Why then should you pray for others at all? And if you should, how should you do it? Praying for others, if rightly understood, becomes a means for lifting your projections of guilt from your brother and enabling you to recognize it is not he who is hurting you. The poisonous thought that he is your enemy, your evil counterpart, your nemesis, must be relinquished before you can be saved from guilt. For this the means is prayer, of rising power and with ascending goals until it reaches even up to God.
The earlier forms of prayer at the bottom of the ladder will not be free from envy and even malice. They call for vengeance, not for love. Nor do they come from one who understands that they are cause for death made out of fear by those who cherish guilt. They call upon a vengeful God, and it is he who seems to answer them. Hell cannot be asked for another and then escaped by him who asks for this. Only those who are in hell can ask for hell. Those who have been forgiven and who have accepted their forgiveness could never make a prayer like this.
At this level, then, the learning goal must be to recognize that prayer will bring an answer only in the form in which the prayer was made. And this is enough. From here, it will be an easy step to the next level. It begins with, what I've asked for my brother is not what I would have. Thus have I made of him my enemy.
It is apparent that this step cannot be reached by anyone who sees no value nor advantage to himself in setting others free. This may be long delayed because this step may seem to be dangerous instead of merciful. To the guilty, there seems indeed to be a real advantage in having enemies, and this imagined gain must go if enemies are to be set free. Guilt must be given up and not concealed. Nor can it be without some pain, and a glimpse of the merciful nature of this step may for some time be followed by a deep retreat into fear. For fear's defenses are fearful in themselves, and when they are recognized, they bring their fear with them.
Yet what advantage has an illusion of escape ever brought a prisoner? His real escape from guilt can only lie in the recognition that the guilt has gone. And how can this be recognized as long as he hides it in another and does not see it as his own? Fear of escape makes it difficult to welcome freedom, and to make a jailer of an enemy seems to be safety. How, then, can he be released without an insane fear for yourself? You have made of him your salvation and your escape from guilt. Your investment in this escape is heavy, and your fear of letting go is strong.
Stand still an instant now and think what you have done. Do not forget that it is you who did it, and who can therefore let it go. Hold out your hand, this enemy has come to bless you. Take his blessing and feel how your heart is lifted and your fear released. Do not hold on to it, nor unto him. He is a son of God along with you. He is no jailer, but a messenger of Christ. Be this to him that you may see him thus.
It is not easy to realize that prayers for things, for status, for external gifts of any kind, are always made to set up jailers to hide from guilt. Yet these things too are used for goals that substitute for God, and therefore distort the purpose of prayer. The desire for them is the prayer. One need not ask explicitly. The goal of God is lost in the quest for lesser goals of any kind, and prayer becomes requests for enemies. The power of prayer can be quite clearly recognized even in this. No one who wants an enemy will fail to find one, but just as surely will he lose the only true goal that is given him. Think of the cost and understand it well. All goals are at the cost of God. Wow, I listened to it. I was taken by what was being shared. That's really lovely. So very helpful, but also like not so easy to hear it. You have to take time to let it come to you, but it's very helpful if you want to say discover more about praying for your enemy, so to speak, or praying for your patient, or prayer in general. So that's another one that we can put it on the list for further study. It's really lovely. So, like I said, we're going to have some music now, listening gently, sinking deeply into meditation. And it is a different kind of music, but it's really lovely to let yourself flow with that too. Sorry, I must have turned off the music in the beginning, but it was quiet. It's great too. This music to me is, even though it goes like downward, it is very uplifting. It's like there's such gratitude speaking. So it's like, wow, how beautiful is that? How beautiful this simple composition can be, to express a deep gratitude. Literally, it doesn't want to be anything else. It just let itself melt into it. And I totally think it's lovely. So this is what we do. Like, this is what you do in prayer too. Praying for your enemies is in fact allowing your image of your enemy go. Allowing yourself to, in fact, to give up protecting that image that you held against him, and seeing that he is your savior by just standing for that. No matter what you tell him, it is literally nothing else than that you recognize his innocence. And now that's always such a joyous event, to recognize innocence. So you might as well not even condemn in order to step into that recognition immediately. And that's easy for me to say, maybe, but it is like, well, it saves yourself a lot of trouble. But if you do condemn, if you do think you need to judge, then don't wait too long to come to this place where you start to forgive or to release this idea that you hold. Because, like we said in the beginning, it's only an image that you hold against him. Now, he is not an image, neither are you. You're one. You're not an image. It's like creation itself. You're God itself. You cannot be described by any limiting, in any limiting ways, not even as a student of a spiritual path. Like, that doesn't make any sense either. Or a Course in Miracles student. That does not make any sense either. You are not. You're not that what you think you are in every description, in every form. You see this here too. This came back to us in the prayer, the last part in the Song of Prayer. It's like 100 ways of describing yourself, 100 forms. All of them are not that, are not what you are. Because what you are cannot be described. If there would be a definition for it, you would be able to limit it. If you think there's something that can fix you in a form, into an image, then you're missing the whole point. So this is the mind training, you could say. This is really where we say do our gymnastics in keeping our mind open and open and open and open. That's why I say, it's like, no, it's not what you think it is. No, this is not what you think it will be. No, nothing at all is what you think it is. Not when you look at yourself, not when you think about yourself or others. It is not that. No, it's not what you think it is, what is being given to you. No, what is being given to you, you haven't received yet. It is always more than you think. There's always more. It is never what you think it is. You have a great experience, great. There's more. No, it is not what you think it is. There is more. There's always more. It goes deeper. No, it's not that. It can even go deeper. Yes, you can give that to yourself continuously. Like, the only satisfaction that you get in human life, in fact, is when you start to define it, when you hold on to an image and you think that that is it, and now you find your safety. Well, whoops, there, the safety is gone. Now what? It's past. Anything that you hold on to here, anything that you describe in form, is already over and is gone, and will never give you the certainty that you project on it. And there's no exception to that. So this is a very, very, very exciting prospect, because it is a continuous invitation to such an incredible, deep experience of creation that you become one of it. It is like that. It's like you become one of creation itself by recognizing what is actually going on and starting to catch glimpses and searching deeper and going for more research. No, it's not what it is. No, I cannot be that. What is being given to me as a definition of myself, I won't accept it. It's a lie. It's not me. It has nothing to do with any idea that I hold about myself. And on and on and on and on. It's really like this. It's like, wow. So that's mind opening, and that can be quite, it's like that can be quite confrontative, quite overwhelming. It should be overwhelming. That would be a normal response to getting in touch with truth. Like a peace that passes understanding is not one that you just don't understand. No, it's one that's going to completely overwhelm you. And when I say completely overwhelm you, I mean not what you think that means. I mean it will completely overwhelm you, and more and more and more. So it's like, yeah. So there's no way to define this in any kind of way or describe it. No. The closest you can come to it is say that it is more than what you think it is. That is always more than you think it is. So that's really great. That is the prospect. That is the possibility. That is, in fact, your reality. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, great. Now discover. and see that it opens your consciousness, and that you will have experiences that have no relationship with anything in this world by your definition. Like it will always go beyond that. It will always be a surprise. That's the beauty. It's like a miracle, for instance, if that is the closest that stands next to you and very much available continuously. That is already always a surprise, and it actually works. You can't believe it, because in your description of yourself things fail. In the miracle sense of speaking, things never fail. It is always a certainty. It's always available, always applicable. You can always ask for it, and it will always be a surprise that is going to be given, whether it's absolute gentle peace and that envelops you, whether it's like an upliftment that you absolutely did not expect. It is happening in the next moment. It is right there with you. It's always like one thought away from you, and it's always there. It will never fail. It will always be there. But the only requirement is like being open-minded. Your mind, you need to be like, miracles are experienced in light. They are received in light, not in darkness. So if I, with my grumpy think like, well, that's not going to happen for me, then it's not going to happen for you. If I say like, well, I'm not good enough for that, then I will not be good enough for that. If I'm open, so if I allow myself already to have a different idea about myself, it can happen, and it will happen, and it did happen. So you can be certain of that. It's like there's no doubt in my mind about that, because it is certain, and because it is not by my definition. That's why it's certain. It's not because I say so, but because it is. Because that makes a huge difference. All right, so this was what I wanted to share today. So much possibility, so much, like such a big, huge crowd of angels, that you will be lifted up, possibly lifted up, if you open your mind for it and you see that as one of the possibilities. There will be. So see you out there. I love you. Thank you so much for your presence, and see you before you know it.